So hi, good morning. I will be discussing how you can do queries in SQL by using select, from, where, and I will be also diving deep only on the basics for this video. And please head to the second video if you wanna learn more about the joins and inner joins and the left joins. So for this one, the most basic thing that you should know about querying in SQL is that you have three basic statements in SQL. So the first one is select. Select, technically, in the most basic terms, is what you want to display in your results. So for example here, if I want to get the username of the employees with more than 1,000 points, the question is asking what username to get the username. So in this manner, what you should display is the username. That's why in select statement, what you only put is the username. And next is from, is as to which table are you selecting this username from. So from which table are you deriving your data from? In simple sense, from which table are you querying from? So in this manner, you can say, okay, I am querying from an employees table. So if you look at the employee table, you see here that there's employee schema, you can see here that there is a field called username. And that is why we derive the username from this table, because this table contains username. So we say from employee. And the next is where. The where statement indicates your condition. Since it states here in the question with more than 1,000 points, then if we look over here to the schema, you can see here that the current points is also listed down as a field. So this is simply an integer. So we can simply query current points is greater than 1,000 to get our select from where statement. So in SQL, once again, this is the most basic query that you can perform. But it is recommended that you first identify your from statement and where statement clause first before proceeding to your select. Because technically your select identifies only what you should display, but establishing kung ano yung piniquery mo in the first place is in the from and the where statements. So let's dive into a basic example on how to do this. So let me just head over to virtual machine. So if you look over here, we have a DB project management question. So in case you don't know about the DB project management or you have not seen its schema, the DB project management schema looks like this. So the DB project management is composed of employee table that is connected to a project, the project members, and the project members is also connected to a project work plan. And the project work plan consecutively has a start date, actual start date, end date, actual end date. And you can also see there's a project status, so you can know what the status of your project is. So before performing any query, it's important to first understand your schema. So in that way, you can actually understand the relations between the tables. So let me just give you some time to actually internalize this. If this is somehow hard to internalize, you can pause this video and look at the entire schema. Maybe screenshot the entire schema while I work you through the process of actually performing or designing a query. So let me put, I assume that you have placed a screenshot. So I'll be moving on to discussing how to do it. So using the DB project management, which is a schema I showed you earlier. So let me click on the DB project management over here. The question states that generate a report showing the project number only that still have non-completed tasks. So from this, you can see that, okay, so we have a set of analysis questions to just guide us through analyzing the problem and how we can formulate the select from where query statement from that. So from what tables are we going to get the data? So if you head over to the schema, you can see that you have the identifier that you need, which is for project, which is project number. And since you need to know if your project is completed or non-completed, you also need to derive it from your project status. Because here, your project status indicates whether or not your project is completed, non-completed, ongoing, etc. So from this, you can say that I will be deriving it from the project. But if you see here, in the project itself, there is a status foreign key. So this is a foreign key that is connected to the project status over here. So you don't actually need to declare this as a table where you're getting your data from. So for here, you only need the project table. So after this, what are the conditions on the data we are getting? So we have here, we have a p dot status, as stated earlier, as ongoing. How did I know this is an O? Is you simply do a select from project. So when you do that, when you're trying to run this, you can see, okay, I have a project that has a C and an O as a status. So from this one, you can infer that, okay, this is still ongoing. So from this one, P status is equal to O. Are all records of something needed? We still do not need this because we are not yet performing any aggregates or joining. So what we're focusing right now is to select from and where. So, okay. From this one, we can now start formulating our query. So we start with from, as I mentioned earlier. So let's implement proper spacing. So we have a table called project. So from project, let's make that into a key where p dot status is equal to O. And here, so I simply place your project here, so project P, and your condition that you stated over here, so here, because we say non-completed task, so we are indicating the ongoing the projects with an ongoing status. And next is we have an order by. And a select. So something that I did not discuss before is order by is the order in which you want to display your data. So do you want to display it ascendingly according to its ID? Do you want to display it in decreasing or increasing order depending on its project number? But its default is in ascending order based on with basis on what you stated in your order by. So for example here, since generate a report showing the project's project number only, so what we state here is p.project number, right? And our order by is the same. So we order it by its project number. So we try to order it in increasing order with basis on its project number. So isipin nyo, it's like you have a list of numbers shuffled and you wanna arrange it in increasing order. So example, from 1 to 5, naka-increasing order yan siya. So parang ganun na yung ginagawa ng order by in this sense. So if I actually execute this query, you can see here that it states a project number to single project that is still ongoing, which is PC0022004. So that is for our first problem on select from where queries. So let's also proceed to perhaps a harder example, which is we generate a report showing projects, the project number again, the task that started late or ended late, then the intended start and end dates. Arrange the information by project number, then by the task start date. So what we have here is actually, if you go back to your schema, you can see here that in the project work plan, you can see a start date, an actual start date, an end date, and the actual end date. So you can see here that there's an intended start and actual start. So we can derive from that we know that we are getting our information from the project work plan table. So as you can see, lahat ng information na kailangan natin is nasa project work plan. Next is, what are the conditions on the data that we need? So since the question is asking the task that started late or ended late, so we can infer that if actual start date is greater than the intended start date, then that is already late, diba? So we can say here, S date is less than ES date, and E date is less than AE date. So from that, maybe we can start slowly formulating our query. So we have, from what I said earlier, we have a project work plan. It's called PWP, where, so let me just copy what I stated earlier. So .s date is less than PWP AS date, and or we can say PWP E date is less than PWP A date. Yeah. So I just simply, from what I inferred from the problem, I simply transposed it to an actual condition in your where clause. And then from here, it is stated here. So we have your select. So what do you want to display? And your order. So from here, since the data or the question is asking for the project number, the start, the intended start, the actual start, the intended end, and the actual end date. So, okay, maybe we can start with order by first because it explicitly says that you order the information by project number, then by the task start date. So from this one, we can say that you wanna order it by the project number, and then next you wanna order it by your S date. So that's your task start date. So in your select statement, so of course if we're showing the project number, so our first thing here is your project number. Okay. Next is, so you want to be able to present your S date and your, so let me just simply list that down. So we have that EWP dot AS date, EWP dot E date, and PWP dot AE date. So actually, this is all you need. So if I actually do this, that actually works. But if you see here, you don't actually need yung type mo. Parang ang pangit ng formatting, di ba? So to actually change the formatting, so you can actually do this. So you can place it in the date function, which only retains this part. So 2004 to 1001, it eradicates yung time natin na format here. And because yung column name, magbabago siya into date pwp.sdate, kailangan ka mag-set ng alias as to what column name you want. So you can actually start date. Diba? So, yeah. So this is simply stating yung column name mo. So as the desired column name that you want. And then let's do the same for the other one. So that is date again. As actual start date. Okay, here again. So we have date. And then this one over here as end date. And then this one as date and as actual date. So I hope you get the pattern by this time. So actually, when you try to load the query again, you can see nawala na yung 0000 and tingnan mo na late yung actual start date sa intended start date niya. And you see here that your column names look better. It is more informative by changing your column name over here. So actually, I think that is all for the basic querying in SQL. So you guys can look back on this. So just really follow your analysis questions. So from what tables are we going to get the data? Are there conditions on the data we are getting? And simply transpose whatever information you analyze from to your select from where statements. So your select is the things you want to display. From is the tables in which you are getting your data, and your where is your condition. And order by is as to which variable are you basing your order from. So your ordering font, is it ordering by number, ordering by name, etc. So that is all for the first video. Please proceed to the second video if you want to learn more about joinings and aggregates. Thank you.